playing Xbox.
Yeah.
I got time to kill.
I've never really, I play with the kids every once in a while, but I don't know. I've never really gotten really into it. All right, you ready?
As I'll ever be.
Let's do it.
All right.
What is going on, everybody? This is Zach, and I'm back with another episode of Man to Mike. And today I am joined by Bailey, and I'm going to make an effort here to say your last name, Wiepert.
Nope, that's what everybody says. Everybody. That's what I'm saying. There's a couple handfuls of people that have ever said it right.
Yeah.
It's Wiepert.
See, that was the second route I was going to go. I was going to do the hard E instead of the I, but
yeah.
You know, valiant effort on mine. So Wiepert.
Yeah.
So Bailey Wiepert is joining me today. He's a gentleman that I met recently, just at the gym, really. And Seth, I guess, kind of introduced us a little bit. But this is the guy that I always talk about. It's a great day to have a great day. Like, he just has a smile on his face all the time, and it's a really cool thing. And so, yeah, man, I'm glad to have you here. And just tell me a little bit about yourself, like where are you from and stuff.
So I'm originally from Buffalo, New York.
Gotcha.
Grew up, about 45 minutes north.
Been getting a lot of people from New York on here lately.
Yeah, but I'm from New York.
Yeah. Oh, them other people are not. Oh, yeah, I got you now. There's some rivalry happening.
Yeah,
already.
I don't think it's no hate. I just think New York, like Long Island, the whole thing, it should be its own state.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I went to New York City for New Year's one time. That was brutal.
Oh, I bet that would be terrible, man.
My mom surprised me working at a horse barn, and I'm just mucking stalls, and she goes, "Hey, you got any plans tonight?" I'm like, "Nope, not really."
Yeah.
She goes, "All right, well, I'm gonna come get you at like 9 o'clock or 7 o'clock or something like that, and we're going on a trip." And I'm like, "All right, cool." She wouldn't tell me where we're going. We get in the car, and about 2 hours down the road, she's like, "Yeah, we're heading to New York City for New Year's." I'm like, "New Year's is in like 4 hours, and it's a 7-hour drive." But we ended up making it on time. It was if we left at like probably 6 or 7, so we would have got there. I think we got there like 11 o'clock at night. I don't remember what time we left because that math doesn't math right.
Yeah.
But we drove to Hoboken, New Jersey, and took the subway into town, like 32nd Street or something dumb like that. Got some Euros, I think is what they're called.
Yeah.
Or gyros, however people pronounce them these days.
Like the lamb.
Yeah. Like,
I got you.
I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
That was the one and only time I've ever had them. Wasn't bad. Just not my not my cup of tea.
Yeah, same. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, it's all right. But yeah, I grew up for the most part in upstate or Western New York. Moved around an absolute ton as a kid. My stepdad had a job working for errands. At least that's the story I was told. I don't know if that's the real case or not, but that's the information I have to this date. Is he kept getting promotions out of state. So I lived in a small town in New York till I was about 7 or 8. Moved to Virginia, did a year there, moved back to New York for 6 months, went to North Carolina for a year and a half, moved somewhere else in North Carolina for about another year, moved back to New York. I think we did about 4 months in a house. My mom met somebody else because the reason why we left North Carolina was my stepdad was abusing her, like physically. He was beating her up pretty good. I never saw it, but looking back on it now, it's kind of like I get it.
Yeah.
I still I never saw it. And I never really heard it, but my sisters say that they kind of understood a little bit. Like with them thinking back on it now, they heard and saw some things I never did. But that's why we left North Carolina. And then my 6 months in a house, my mom met somebody. We moved into another house, stayed there for about 2 years. And then that's when I decided on my own that I wanted to move out and go live with my grandparents.
How old were you?
15.
Got you.
I made that decision.
So there's just a lot of chaos. It was just chaos.
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to being the new guy.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, everywhere I've been, it's
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I get it. That would be tough. Because my ex-wife, she in a similar way, her stepdad was in the railroad, and they moved. I mean, she was never really in a school more than a year at a time.
Yeah, same.
Jumping around all over the place, and so yeah, I would imagine that would cause for just chaos in itself, on top of everything else that was probably going on.
Yeah, there was a lot of other stuff going on. Like, this is some of this stuff. There's not a single person on this planet that knows half the things that I'm about to say. Probably, like my wife don't even know the majority of this, just because it's not. Like, how do you bring something like that up?
Yeah.
You know, it's just
you start a podcast and hope guys just start talking about it.
Right. Yeah, you just wait for a guy like you to show up. But yeah, so it was about it was Virginia. So I was about 8 or 9 years old.
What part of Virginia?
Greenville.
It
was right outside of Stanton.
Okay. Gotcha. I lived up in Virginia for a little while in the Army.
Those are the only two cities I can tell you. I don't know where the hell else it was.
Gotcha.
But it was the Greenville area. I was about 8 or 9 years old at the time, and one of my stepdad's friends, who he worked with in New York, they had moved. Our families had moved down to Virginia together. Like they kind of both got a promotion to like the same. It was in errands.
Yeah.
So they both moved. They both moved to a new store in Virginia. So both of our families went down there, and they had an older son. He was about, I don't even know. He might have been 14, 15 maybe at the time. He could have been older or younger. I really never knew his age. But I don't even know how it happened. We'd hang out, and somehow push came to shove, and he ended up molesting me. But not, it was kind of like a reverse. Like, he made me do things to him.
Yeah.
He never really like touched me.
Yeah.
Or did anything to me, but he made me do a lot of things to him that I was like 8 or 9 years old. I didn't know what the hell was going on. He was just like, "Hey, we should do this," and I was like,
"Yeah,
if you say so, dude." So that was something that I forgot about for a long time. I still remember the dude's name. I'm not going to say it though.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I feel like that was a start to some of the problems that I had later on in life. Because like that, for lack of better explanation, that was kind of, it didn't really matter at the time. Like, I didn't think anything of it. It was just a thing that happened. I was like, all right, whatever. And then growing up, when I was, fast forwarding when I was like 15 or so, I started using women in ways that a man should not.
Yeah.
I would say everything that they wanted to hear, because somehow I just knew what they wanted to hear, and I would say it, and I would do everything I could to just get with them physically. Respectfully, of course, but it was kind of like a one-night stand type of deal.
Yeah.
It's like I would talk them up for weeks. One night stand would happen, and then we'd slowly die down talking, and eventually just, hey, this isn't working out, or I'd just ghost them.
Yeah.
And it's, at the time, I had no problem with it, because it just, I don't know, it just wasn't a problem at the time. But then how I got down here to Tennessee, which was in 2019, I lived with my grandparents from the time I was 15 till I was, 20, because I moved down here in 19 or something like that. The reason I got down here to Tennessee is a very good friend of mine. We've been best friends for 13 years now. Him and his family, they're like my second family. I love them to death. We were hanging out all the time, growing up together and doing everything together. He's the one who got me into working out in the first place. Yeah. We had a goal. I think when he started working out, he was like 210 and I was like 130.
Yeah.
Our goal was to meet in the middle of 165.
Yeah.
It was excellent when we hit it. But his dad retired from the Air Force and he wanted to get the hell out of New York State.
Yeah.
He's like, these winters suck. I'm tired of this nonsense. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
I thought I was going to end up at Fort Drum there for a little bit. I was glad that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I always heard it was really cold up there.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
We went up for Christmas, and I think the day we got there, it was 11 degrees, and the wind chill made it feel like negative 14.
Yeah.
And there was about a foot of snow. Not a lot, but
yeah. I mean,
which is
for down here.
Yeah,
that
I know.
Would be, everything shuts down.
Yeah, it's funny because like when we got that snow last week, Saturday when it happened. Or no, Friday. It was Friday when it snowed. I work at Amazon. They canceled Amazon.
Uh-huh.
They're like, we're not doing today. And I looked around and I'm like, it's not even snowing yet.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? And then it snowed a good amount, but I mean, it was only 2-3 inches maybe.
Yeah. Till that one Amazon van slid all the way down that hill and off the
So
side.
I know the guy who did that. I don't know if he still works there or not.
I mean, it seemed pretty innocent. I mean, like,
did you see the video?
I mean, part of it. I don't know if I watched the whole thing or not.
I mean, there's really only part of a video. It's about like a 9-second video.
Yeah.
But dude just started sliding down a hill, jumped out of the van, and just let it ride.
What else you gonna do? Go down with the ship? I guess. I mean,
Try and save it.
Yeah.
Not hit a building.
Yeah, but I don't think it was going. I mean, at that point, you're on solid ice. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
You're probably
well,
right. He probably should have stayed.
What sucks? It's difficult too because those electric vans, they have regenerative braking, which is not cool. So as soon as you let off the gas, if you just take your foot off the gas, try to coast, it doesn't. It slams on the brakes.
Really?
It hits them hard. So, when you start sliding, you're supposed to like pepper the brakes.
Yeah.
And try and keep it straight as much as you can.
Yeah.
But you can't do that in those electric vans because if you have to pepper the gas.
I gotcha.
But you're going to speed up and slow down and speed up and slow down. So I don't know. I don't know what I would have done in that situation. I mean, I probably would have rode it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess jumping out's not your first instinct, I guess. I wouldn't think, like.
Well, yeah, because I'm like, at what point do you think to say, all right, I'm out?
Yeah.
Because you're also buckled in. I mean, it's a good 2-3 feet to get out of the van.
I guess I didn't see the part where he just like done. I thought he was already out, like he was delivering something, and it just started sliding away from him. That's what I thought, but I didn't watch the whole thing. I don't think so. He could have totally.
I don't know
jumped
what
out.
the whole thing is too. Like I said, it's only that 9-second video, so that you might be right, and I could have false information.
I don't know.
Back to the Tennessee thing.
Yeah.
I told you this was going to be something. A buddy's family wanted to get out of New York, and he was looking around for houses just somewhere in Tennessee, and somehow stumbled upon Rutledge. Well, my buddy went into basic training at the time for the Air Force, and I came down and helped them move into their house. And I fell in love with the area immediately.
Yeah.
I was like, this place is great. They live up in the mountain. It's phenomenal. They've got 2 neighbors. Actually, his son owns the house next door. And then there's a neighbor about a quarter of a mile down the road. He's an awesome guy. And then there's nobody for like 3 miles. It's awesome. And I told my wife, I was like, look, you're going to come down here and you're going to want to move here immediately. And she's like, no, there's no way. If anything, I want to go to North Carolina if we don't buy a house in New York or something. But we came down here a year later. I don't even think we were here 4 hours, and she's on Zillow looking at houses.
Yeah.
She fell in love with it immediately. We ended up getting a place in Rutledge also. Ironically, it was, I guess not ironically, but funny enough, it worked out to where The exact distance from my grandparents' house to their house back up in New York is the exact distance from our house down here to their house down here.
Oh, that's cool.
Like to the mile.
That's crazy.
Or to the 10th of a mile. But so we came down here in 2019 because of them. And backtracking all the way to the point of the story was hanging out with them. I was agnostic.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. I didn't care.
Yeah.
There could have been a God. There could not have been. Didn't matter to me one way or the other.
Yeah.
I was just living life, and I was having a good time doing it. Well, his mom, she would push every once in a while because we were over there every day. I mean, I lived with them for like 6 months.
Yeah.
She'd push every day, like a little bit. She'd be like, "Oh, let me read you this Bible verse that I found," or this passage that I just feel like this is what's going on with you guys. And she'd read it, and I'd be like, "You know what? That's cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for reading that. I'm gonna go over here now."
Yeah.
But I appreciate you reading that. That's cool. I'll think about it later.
Yeah.
Later never came. And then there was, I guess you guys have it down here. It's called like Young Life or something.
Yeah.
We have something sort of similar. It was called Snow Camp.
Gotcha.
So it would just be a bunch of churches and then a bunch of local churches. And then every once in a while we'd have an out-of-state church come in. And it'd be a weekend-long thing where just a bunch of kids get together and we'd play games for the trophy was a Tootsie Roll. Mm-hmm. And that was supposed to be like if you got the Tootsie Roll, you were top dog.
Yeah.
But is something, we were in one of the services we had on like a Friday or Saturday night, and I don't know what it was about this specific service, but something clicked. And it was in 2013, or it was 2014 when it happened. Something clicked, and they were doing cardboard confessions. Mm-hmm. And I can't for the life of me, and for some reason nobody else can either, remember what the cardboard confessions actually were. But it was something along the lines of, like, it said something bad on one side, like something that they did, and then they flipped it over, and it was like how they got to where they are today.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, that makes so much sense at the time. And something clicked that day, and we left that snow camp. And that June, I made the active decision. I was like, you know what? I'm going to start going to church. I'm going to start doing everything I can, because something happened that I'm just not me anymore.
Yeah. And
we started going every Sunday, every Wednesday, every Friday. We'd have, church service on Wednesday. We'd have a youth group or church service on Sunday, youth group on Wednesday. And then we had like a kind of kids hangout. There'd be like middle school kids would hang out to from 6 to 8. And then high schoolers would hang out from 8 to 12 or 8 to 10, something like that. And it would be like the entire school. Mm-hmm. And it was just a way to keep kids off the street, because there's nothing else to do in town. I mean, you've got like 3 bars, a grocery store, and a Dollar General, because why not? And there's nothing else to do. So if you weren't like in the church, you were under the bridge getting high or doing something. Yeah. Which is something that I partook in for a while as well, but it was mostly just weed. It was only just weed. I never experienced anything else besides that.
Yeah.
I had the idea that I wanted to. Like, I wanted to try shrooms. Wasn't big on acid. That was pretty much all. So there's just something about shrooms that I wanted to try. Never did.
All-time favorite.
Yeah.
All-time favorite.
Never did it, because I've been offered a few times. But I was always in the thinking of, I got to be in the right mental headspace first.
Yeah.
Before I try shrooms. Because if I'm in a bad mental health spot, I'm gonna have a bad trip. Because one of my buddies, he did shrooms a couple weeks prior, and he sat there for 2 hours crying because he thought he thought our other friend's mom was going to die.
Yeah.
He's like, man, I don't know what it is about it, man. She's going to die and I can't do anything to help her.
Yeah.
He cried about it for like 2 hours.
Yeah. I've only seen one person have a bad trip on mushrooms. Because to me, it was always the most euphoric, happy, you couldn't help but just be happy. So even when the one time I did see somebody on a bad trip in my mind, I'm like, how did you even get there? Like, I don't even know. Like, it's not like acid. Like, acid, you can get there real quick. You can get to a bad spot real quick.
Yeah, there was another friend of mine that it ended up being a long con at the end, but he played it off like it was one bad acid trip.
Yeah.
Like he was one of the group. We were hanging out every day, doing everything together, same sense of humor. We all liked the same stuff. We all hated the same stuff.
Yeah.
There was 0 arguments in our friend group. And one day he does acid, and then for like a year, this dude was just
not right.
He flipped a script completely. He changed everything. He went like super hard into trying to become a rapper. He changed his name to like it was ASAP something, and like the whole 9 yards. He changed the way he dressed, the way he looked, the way he acted, everything for like a year.
Yeah.
And then find out a couple months after that, he was like, oh yeah, that was all, I was just fooling. He's just like, JK, bro. And I was like, I don't know, man. That
acid took you to a place.
That's an awful long con, dude.
Yeah.
To just be like JK.
Yeah.
But backtrack again. Whenever those cardboard confessions happened, that flipped the script. And then from there, I changed my life completely around.
Yeah.
I mean, they say, there's that saying of let go and let God.
Yeah.
I made that like a physical thing. Mm-hmm. That's not just a saying to me. I let everything go. Yeah. And that's why you always see me with a smile on my face, dude. There's very, very, very few instances where you're going to catch me in a bad mood.
Yeah.
And the only times you could probably do that is if I'm on the road.
Yeah.
And there's just some dude being an idiot in front of me.
Yeah.
I can't help it because I've got really bad anger issues. My anger management is poor.
Oh, yeah.
It's really bad.
Has it always been that bad?
As far as I know.
Yeah.
I didn't really notice. Probably started. I mean, other people probably tell you it started younger, but from when I've noticed, it probably started from when I was about 12-ish.
Makes sense.
Give or take.
A lot going on.
Yeah. It was mostly just my sisters annoying the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Because I have 2 younger sisters. One's 2 years younger than me, and the other one's 5 years younger. But I started with them just annoying me, and there was not a whole lot of times where, like, I would do anything to another person. It was mostly I would take all my anger out on inanimate objects.
Yeah.
Like the one time I got mad at my sister because it was something dumb at the time. Like she had something. I had something and she took it and wouldn't give it back. And I like took a golf club and threw it across the room. But we were in the garage and it hit the sliding glass door and shattered. And immediately I was like, I don't know. I was just, I was walking around the garage and I put like a box or something stupid there. I was like, I tripped over this box and just shouldered the door and it broke. It was also winter, so it was cold and I played it off. Like, I don't know, man. It was just cold and it shattered.
Yeah.
That didn't work. That lasted all about 3 seconds. My mom was like, hey, what are you doing? To my sister. And she was like,
yeah,
he threw a golf club.
Yeah.
So that got me in a good amount of trouble. But
where do you think it comes from? Like, where because like I know for me that like when I was from 9 to 15, I mean, it was a pretty chaotic time for me. And like I had a lot of anger issues and stuff. I don't now at all, but during that time, and I think for me it was like when I I don't know, man. I think it was a control thing. I never felt like I had control of anything. Like I never had control of any situation. I never had, and stuff was just kind of heavy. And so I don't know. There was something about being angry and just letting go and taking control of a situation through anger. For me, that's what it was. Like anger was when I'm fed up with it. This is me taking control, and I guess that was just a comfortable. I didn't like being there. I don't like getting angry.
I hate it.
I hate it, dude. And because I feel like a lot like my dad when I get angry, and like my facial expressions I know are like his, and my tone becomes like his, and I don't know, man. I can say some hurtful things sometimes, but yeah, dude. I don't know. That was just for me though. I just felt like
I don't know where my anger stems from because I don't know my dad. He. Again, stories be told. The information I have is he was in Fort Bragg, I think, or Fort Liberty, whatever it changed to now. But that's the one in Georgia, right? Fort Bragg.
No, Benning is in Georgia. Bragg's in North Carolina.
Okay, but it was Fort Benning then. Fort Benning. He was down there, was married at the time. I don't know if my mom didn't know that or she knew and she didn't care or whatever, but they hooked up and he was like, okay, I'm married and I'm getting deployed in like 3 weeks. And then he went off to Germany and that was that for the most part. She chose apparently to not say anything, never tell him because she didn't want to blow up his life. So I don't know anything about my dad other than his name.
Yeah. You ever been curious?
No.
Yeah.
Never.
Gotcha.
First time. Man, I got to put on that sweatshirt. I'm freezing.
Yeah, dude, go ahead. Do whatever, man.
Second. But yeah, I was never curious about my dad. My mom first told me about him when I was 12. That was the thing when we left North Carolina, it was on my 12th birthday. So that was and that was an all of a sudden thing because that was like I said, that was an abusive relationship she was getting out of. So it was. I was actually at a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament.
Shoot, yeah.
Yeah, me and the guy across the street were real big into Yu-Gi-Oh, and we were at a tournament at one of the card stores or whatever, and she had called me at like 8:00 at night. She goes, "Hey, where you at right now?" And I said, "Oh, we're leaving the tournament now." It was a late tournament. I was one of the final 3 guys or whatever. And she was like, "All right, because we're moving back to New York." And I was like, "What do you mean, dude?" like it's 8:00 at night. And she's like, "Yeah, pack. Like I've got a lot of your clothes packed and some of your like whatever toys or nonsense I had at the time." She's like, "Your stepdad's out at," all right, he was out doing something he was at like some kind of work thing or whatever. So he was going to be out late. And she goes, "When you get home, pack whatever you want. You've got like 30 minutes and we're out." And that's exactly what happened. I got home, packed a few things, and we hightailed out of there. Stayed at a hotel somewhere and made it to New York the next day. That was that. And it's just, at the time, I didn't care.
Yeah.
Because, I'm 12.
Yeah.
But, like, I cared, I guess, a little bit, but not really. Because I was like, man, it's my birthday and it's Yu-Gi-Oh tournament and this dude's my friend.
Yeah.
Like, we'd only been at that school not even 6 months. Because it was I was in 6th grade there. And, school in the South starts earlier. So, starts earlier. So by the time it was April, so the school year's almost over for here. And we moved back to New York. Well, the school year doesn't end till like the 2nd or 3rd week of June. Mm. We moved up there and instantly failed 6th grade. Because what I was learning in like the last couple weeks here, they taught in like the first month. So I failed 6th grade. Had to redo that, which was fine. But I've never been a school guy. I can't stand it, man. I think that was the start of actually one of the better decisions I've ever made. Was I failed 6th grade, redid it, failed 7th grade, but I aced all my final exams. So the principal was like, "Hey," he didn't say this, but the gist of the story is, "You're smart, but you're lazy. Go to 8th grade, quit being lazy." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." Didn't do that. Kept being lazy. Went to summer school for 8th grade because I failed that. Did 9th grade, failed 2 classes. Did 10th grade with my 2 9th grade classes. Failed those 2 9th grade classes again because it was English and social studies.
Bro, I almost failed English every year. I would pull it out like the last second.
Well, what saved my ass so much was a lot of my classes were like, if you pass the final exam, you pass the class. Mm-hmm. You could rock a 30, 40 average. Like, I mean, F minus for the entire school year, start to finish. You pass that final exam, you're good to go.
Yeah.
But those 2 classes just weren't. And once I failed 10th grade, with the 2 9th grade classes, one of the best decisions I ever made. I said, "Mom, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
I do not want to do school anymore. I want to drop out, get a job." I was 17. I was like, I'm done. I'm done with school. And she was like, "All right, well, if you drop out, you can like take a month off for the summer," because it was the end of the school year. She's like, "You can take a month off and then you're getting a job." Mm-hmm. I said, "That sounds like a plan for me." So she actually hooked me up with a roofing job, and that's what started my love for construction. Mm. I've been in construction since that day.
Yeah.
Up until September.
Yeah.
Like 4 months ago when I started Amazon, because my knees and my back, dude, I'm 28 years old, and it's ouch.
Yeah.
Just ouch. I'm hurting all the time. But what's weird is now that I'm back in the gym, I took 6-7 years off from the gym.
Yeah.
Now that I'm back in the gym, I hurt, but it's a good hurt.
Yeah.
It's a welcomed hurt, a familiar feeling, kind of like nostalgic, if you will, almost. It's like I still hurt, but it's not as bad, and it's not painful as much, if that makes any sense at all.
It, dude, for sure.
But anger issues. Going back on that, I don't know where my anger stems from because I don't know anything about my dad.
Bro, but still, like, it totally makes sense, though. Like, outside looking in. Like,
that's what I'm saying. I'd love for you to tell me because I ain't got a clue.
Like, outside looking in. And like I said, I'm not a professional at this at all. But, like, you know, if 12 is when you feel like this started really, like, resonating and, like, picking up, and obviously your sisters were getting on your nerves, and that was probably pushing you over the edge, but there's a lot of heavy stuff happening. Like so whenever your mom left your stepdad, right, did she tell you that it was because of abuse at the time? So this was much later that you found that out?
Yeah, it was a couple years later.
So what did she say? She, like, whenever, she decided to leave, nothing? Or like
what'd she say to me? Or
like, this is just what we're doing? Did she explain to you at all? Like,
the day we left North Carolina, that's what happened. She called me up like 8 o'clock. I had one of those Nokia brick phones with minutes. Yeah, dude. It was my first cell phone.
Don't call me until after 7, Mom. It's free.
Pretty much, yeah. She called me that night, 8 o'clock, and she said, "Look, we're leaving.
Yeah.
Pack your stuff, let's go."
But
that was it.
So even on that long ride back up there was not really any conversation about it, or...
My memory's a hell of a drug, dude. I can't.
Well, and
I can't. I barely remember yesterday. I'm so
man.
Forgetful. So there might have been a little bit of conversation.
And there probably was, man. You got to think it's a long drive. But I know that, like, for me, when traumatic things happen as a kid, I block that stuff out, man.
That's most likely what happened.
Yeah.
And it's just so far gone that
Yeah, because there's so much.
There's no point even trying to find it.
Yeah, there's so much about childhood that I don't remember, and I didn't realize that until recently. Like, it's very patchy, and like there's whole periods like I could not tell you anything that happened, and I don't know, man. But that was where I learned to compartmentalize, and that was always been one of my biggest problems. And what's kept me an introvert and not able to talk about stuff was just I had that realization, I think, when I was sitting with Demo on here, just that compartmentalization that has carried over into adulthood. Just from where you don't have any control as a kid, all these situations are so far out of your control, and you have no choice but to be okay with it. Because everything that you say, you're like, oh, this was fucked up, but it's okay. This is fucked up, but this is okay.
Well, that's also how I think about it now, but because it is okay. I mean,
well, it's okay because it has to be okay, and it's a thing of acceptance. But it's okay to also take a step back. Like I feel like it's important for us to do this, and I have to do this all the time. Is take a step back. And not that we're trying to make excuses or blame or anything, but taking that honest look at the situation and acknowledging for what it was.
Yeah.
Like, this was messed up, and this probably stemmed my anger issues.
Yeah. So, probably the molestation at 8 or 9. I mean, that's pretty much that's really the only thing. Because like we were talking about it at the men's hangout the other night, is other than that, at 8 or 9, I didn't have a terrible childhood.
Yeah.
It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that happened to me, talking about groundings and spankings or whatever, I deserved it. I was a terrible child, but and an even worse teenager, and it makes sense looking back. Lost the train of thought. It's gone forever.
No, I don't think it's gone forever. You're just reflecting back a little bit, trying to figure out where these anger issues maybe stem from.
That's what it was. Yep. I really don't know. I mean, because like I said, other than what happened at 8 or 9 and leaving on my birthday, just school to school all the time.
Yeah.
I don't really know. There's nothing there's not a single point where I can be like, man, this is what causes all my anger. But because it's not that it didn't anger me. I knew how to deal with it at the time. And
which was how?
I didn't.
Compartmentalization.
Yeah. I just let it go, or, I might have cried about it or whatever at the time, being 12 or whatever. But now I don't know where my anger comes from still.
Yeah.
I just, it was just a couple weeks ago, this scrape I have on my knuckle, pain pisses me off.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot anymore that'll get me to the level of anger where I feel like I'm going to explode if I don't exert some immediate energy. Mm-hmm. Pain, and it's mostly just pain, stupid pain. Mm-hmm. If I'm walking and I hit my head on something that 99 times out of 100 I normally wouldn't do, instant anger, just boiling rage, and what I did was I hit the back of a seat in a car, and it was leather. Mm-hmm. And I punched it as hard as I could, probably about 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Scraped both my knuckles, but this one hasn't healed.
Yeah.
And I don't like doing that. Yeah. It doesn't make me feel good by any means, but that's one of the only ways that I can get rid of that anger as fast as possible, because I hate being angry. Yeah. Being angry makes me angry, which makes me angrier, and it's not fun.
Such a vicious cycle.
Yeah, but it's, I don't know.
To me, it just, like I said, man, just consider the fact that it could potentially be, because like I said, the more that I think about it for my own self, those outbursts of anger are you taking control of a situation.
And that could be what it is.
And like, to me, it just makes sense. Like, I get it. And if you've never taken the time to deal with those issues, the anger's it's still there. You're still trying to take control of a situation. Because that's one thing that I learned through, the rooms of NA and AA and going to treatment and stuff, is that, like, you can not work on yourself and be sober and be the same miserable drunk. You just don't drink anymore because you've never dealt with your issues.
Yeah.
And I've known plenty of people that are dry drunks. They're sober, but they're just as miserable as they were when they were drinking because they've still not dealt with the issues. And so until we start taking that honest look at the issues and all the shit that we've been through for what it is, man, I just think it just takes a solid looking at and really breaking it down. And like, have you ever been to therapy? Have you ever done therapy?
I did anger management therapy once, actually, when I
Gotcha.
was 16-ish.
Yeah.
Ironically, my doctor's name was Dr. Anger. Therapy didn't work, and I'll tell you why, because we talked about the New York Yankees the entire time. We were, I did probably about 4 or 5 sessions, hour-long each, and it was once a week. And every single time we went in there, he'd be like, small talk, hey, how's it going? How you doing? What do you think about the Yankees game coming up? We'd talk about that for 45 minutes, and then it was time to go. So that never went anywhere.
Yeah.
So technically I was in therapy, but no, I wasn't in therapy.
Yeah.
But no, my therapy's been the gym for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the greatest things I've ever done was start working out.
Yeah.
And just using that as an outlet, and then working out and hanging out with my buddy and going to church all the time and literally letting go and letting God. I don't worry about anything.
Yeah.
And it pisses my wife off so much. Like we don't argue often. Very rarely do we actually argue. And it's been that way our entire relationship. We've been together almost 9 years. We've been married almost 5.
Yeah.
We don't argue about anything ever. Like really. We've had a few arguments, obviously, because that's a relationship and it's going to happen, but it's been over mostly things that I should be worried about, but I'm not, because I have zero control in the situation, and there's no reason to be worried about it because there's nothing I can physically do on this earth to change the outcome or in any way, shape, or form sway in or out of my favor the outcome of what's about to happen.
Sounds like childhood. Same concept, isn't it?
Funny. Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
Because I do the same thing. All the things that I have been through in life have me to a spot where I rarely worry about anything. Same reason. I don't have control over it. And me sitting here worrying about something that could have 50 different outcomes is not something I have the energy or time for either.
Exactly.
And so
I could take that energy and I could spend it at the gym instead of worrying.
Yeah, like that whole biblical principle of not worrying about tomorrow because like the things today are sufficient for worrying about. Like,
tomorrow's not promised.
No.
Tomorrow's not a guarantee.
And so it's like with my wife, she's like, what do you want to do tomorrow? I'm like, ask me tomorrow. Like I don't know. I don't know what I want to do tonight.
Exactly.
I just, because there's like so many things that could happen. And then I get frustrated if I do go ahead and make that plan and then something changes.
Oh, dude, nothing.
That's why I don't like to make plans.
That's one of the top 5 things that aggravates me in this world, that, bad drivers, the hiccups, making plans, and that, dude, I hate the hiccups. Making plans that I can no longer follow through on because of X, Y, and Z. Yeah. I'm at like an hour by hour kind of guy. Like just this morning, I was like, hey, what's going on? What do you feel like? What time you thinking? And I was, or last night I messaged you that, and I was like, whatever. I'm just gonna get up at I'll get up at like 7. I'll go to the gym. I'll hang out. Worst case scenario, like I'll go to lunch or something by myself. I'll just have myself a good time.
Yeah.
I got to the gym about 9 this morning, and you're like, how about, what do you think about 2 o'clock? And I was like, works for me.
Yeah, you were so chill and laid back about it. I felt bad, man. I was trying my best, dude.
I told you. I'm not kidding. Dude, not worry about it, man. I'm probably one of the easiest guys to get along with.
But like I had, that meeting lasted longer than I thought, and then I had to come back here, and obviously I was still somewhat setting this up when you got here. That's always my thing. I'm always people get here and I'm still setting up.
It's not an issue at all. Like I said, I told you I was like, take your time, man. Like I'm hitting shoulders today. I don't get to do a whole lot of shoulder workouts because normally I go to the gym. I'm there for about an hour, give or take, and then I had to work. Today I worked out for 3 hours. I did every shoulder. I was Googling shoulder workouts because I ran out of stuff to do. Decided to do some rack pulls, which I haven't done in 8 years.
Oh gosh, man! I always hurt myself on rack pull. I quit doing them. I quit. I got a herniated disc in my lower back, and so I always end up hurting myself. That's why I don't do deadlifts. I don't even try. And RDLs, I love RDLs, but they kill my back, man. And so I don't know.
Yeah, like my muscle in my back is twitching right now. It's been twitching this whole time too. Because I probably did hurt myself today. Because there's a certain headspace I can get myself into when I'm in the gym. I can just kind of switch my thinking around to where I'm my biggest critic kind of thing. Like I'm talking myself down like, oh man, you're a piece of shit. You suck. You're terrible. Get good, kid. Like just I'll tell myself everything. And I got in that mindset today. I was rack pulling just to see what I could do because I haven't done it in years. Yeah. And I had 315 on there, and I hit it for 5, and then I hit it for 8 in the second set. And I was going to go down, and I was like, all right, man, that's good. That's a good start. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, you did 8. You could probably do 405. So what if you tried 405? And I was like, I don't know, man. And then I said, shut up. You're doing 405, or you're going to at least try it. Yeah. I got it for 2. It wasn't pretty. Yeah. It hurt. So my back's probably, it's going to hurt tomorrow for sure. But, oh well, man, pain is progress. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, dude, I get it. Like I've started learning my boundaries, man, because like me and my workout partner, Ben, like we'll get in there and start pushing each other, and like, I don't know, we go to some wild places sometimes.
I know, I seen you guys the other day, yeah. And you guys were getting it.
Well, we were, man. And so, but I've hurt myself a couple of times. Fortunately, I've learned to back off a little bit. But yeah, dude, I love the gym. It's so good for me. And that was one of the reasons I started working out too. I managed the gym when I first got sober and just kind of fell in love with it, man. I was there. I was the only employee. I was the trainer. I was, the only one that was there 7 days a week from open to close, man.
That's my goal, man. That's my goal in life.
I loved it. And at the time, I was on a pretty serious, I guess, spiritual journey. It was a very close walk that I was in at that point. And I remember I loved the gym because it allowed me the freedom to work, get paid, and sit there and study at the same time. Mm-hmm. And so, dude, I'd have like 3 Bibles spread out on the desk up in front. And like, it was so cool, man, because so many times people would just sit down and talk. Like just come up and ask you, what are you reading? And then they sit down and talk, man. And it was such a cool thing. And then I started hosting a Bible study there on Thursday nights, which was really cool. And it started picking up in number a little bit. And then just some things happened. I ended up leaving that job and getting back into the electrical. And but I was there for 2 years, and it was an incredible time, man. I was able to build a pretty solid foundation, do a lot of studying, got to meet a lot of pastors and stuff, some ministers that would come through there and just sit and talk and encourage me and stuff. And so it's always been really good for me. And now it's something that's just become a discipline and like part of life. And like if I don't do it, I hate it. Like if I don't go in the morning, and here lately, like I'm in a bulk right now, and I'm trying to find that balance of understanding that I need rest. And like for the last, almost 3 years now, maybe 1 day a week I rest, maybe, and usually not even that. Like I'll go 6 or 7 weeks with no days off. And so here lately in this bulk, I'm pushing more weight. I'm trying to get in the mindset. So like I've been known to take 2 days off a week here lately. But I will notice that like when I go in there for my next workout though, I am stronger. I can push more. I feel better. But it's just that mindset, man, because it's been such a peaceful place that I look forward to. I look forward to going there. There's people I look forward to seeing there. It's just a cool place and a cool environment. As long as you can stay away from the ego and the nonsense.
Oh yeah,
I'll quit going to a gym real quick over that. Like, there's been a few gyms I've quit going to.
There's always that one or two, two fellas that are in the gym, and for some reason, for me at least, it's always the same type of dude.
Yeah.
It's that guy walks around the gym with no shoes on, jeans, and a wife beater.
Yeah.
And he's whatever it is he's doing, tricep pull downs or he's just curling. It's always lightweight.
Yeah.
And top of the set just slams weights all the time. There was a dude at the gym up in New York that he did that. He was there every day, every single day. So props to him for going every day. But every single day he would do that. Like, he's walking around like he was not a big dude at all.
Yeah.
He's walking around chest puffed out, arms out, and he's strutting, slamming weights at the top of his set. And I'm like, dude, there's like you've got dude over here who's like a legitimate power lifter.
Yeah.
And a personal trainer. Like, buddy's deadlifting 600 pounds and he's not even slamming his weights.
Yeah.
So, like, what are you doing with 30 pounds, man?
Bro.
There's always that one guy.
Like, if you want to see me go to 0 to 100 real quick in a gym, there's one thing, and that's a damn CrossFitter in there.
Oh, you would have hated today. It's a good thing you did not. Okay,
yeah.
define CrossFitter, though. Like, are we talking, like, just if someone's just saying power
if you
cleaning?
Can't control the weight and you got to throw it down, don't touch it.
It's a good thing you didn't come today.
Don't touch it.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, there's a guy in there that's been doing that here recently, dude, and I find myself, like, every time he does it, it's just like an instant reaction for me. I'm like, bro, if you can't set it down, don't pick it up.
Right.
And I understand that's not the point of CrossFit. The point of CrossFit is to do,
I hate CrossFit.
Every exercise inappropriately or inaccurately. And you just got to make sure your form sucks and that you're doing it totally wrong and you've nailed CrossFit.
That's the information I've gathered too. Oh, man. I don't know what it is. Just every time I see someone do, like, I think they're called power cleans, it's a deadlift and then you shoulder it.
Yeah. And then just drop it, throw it.
Just drop it to the ground. I'm like, dude, what is it? What does that even do? Like, honestly, I really don't even know what body part you're working out there besides your back and maybe breaking your wrists.
Gentlemen, even if you do CrossFit, you're still welcome here.
Oh, absolutely.
You just don't tell us that you do CrossFit. I'm just joking. But no, seriously, like, that was something that will take me 0 to 100 real quick in the gym. My workout partner knows it too. So, yeah.
So he'll do it on purpose?
No, he won't do it.
Oh.
No. And I understand, like, it's one thing to drop the weight when it's like if I'm doing chest press and I'm using dumbbells and I'm pressing big ones, then, it's safer for me to drop it than to try to get back up. In my mind, like, there's more of a risk for me to get hurt by trying to sit back up with these things.
Yeah, but there's a difference. There's a difference between, like, you come down for a press and you drop it from here.
Yeah.
Versus you're all the way up here and then you just let it go. It's a completely different animal.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
But I don't know, man. Anger management in the gym. Meditation was something I was huge on.
Yeah.
Before, so it was actually, it was after I found God. I didn't really pray a whole lot, but I meditated. And pretty much what I mean by that is I shut all the lights off in my room. I put on noise-canceling headphones. I played some ambience.
Yeah.
And I just sat there.
Yeah.
Controlled my breathing and just cleared my mind
of
everything I possibly could as much as possible because ADHD is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, speaking of, because I know you've been talking about wanting to get medicated, and I think it was David said he is medicated.
Yeah. Has been his whole life.
I was medicated around 12 years old. Is when I first started taking medication for it.
Stuff starts adding up, doesn't it?
I don't know, man. I like math, but the math ain't mathing right now.
Yeah.
Math's one of my favorite subjects.
Do some of that mine, too. That was the only thing I did decent in.
Yeah, same.
So,
but I was about 12 years old. I started taking meds for ADHD, and it was brutal.
Yeah.
It was bad. It made me a zombie. And it sucked even more for me personally because I don't know what it was, but it was one of those ones that you had to take with a meal. Otherwise, it was cause you to be sick. I don't eat.
Yeah.
I like all day long yesterday. I got up at about, I don't even know what day yesterday was.
Tuesday. I thought today was Tuesday. I don't know. Until a little
I honestly thought yesterday was Thursday.
Yeah.
All day yesterday, I got up at like 9, went to the gym, stayed out till about noon, got Chick-fil-A, went home, ate at about 1:30. I was all ate all day. Was that Chick-fil-A sandwich?
You gotta feed them muscles, bro.
I forget to eat, dude. That's how bad my memory is.
Yeah.
I forget to eat because I'm trying to bulk. I would love to bulk.
Yeah.
But I just don't eat.
Set reminders on your phone.
I forget to set reminders. So one of the...
You can set permanent reminders, though. If you just do it one time.
Right, but it's that one time that I got to get to because one of the only arguments that we've had, me and my wife, in like the last 4 months was yesterday, actually. It was last night, and it was about that.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had taken the garbage out, but I didn't take the cardboard, or I took the garbage to the dump, but I didn't take the cardboard out because I forgot to grab the cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of making that second trip like I should have, I just took the cardboard and I put it in the garage for later so it didn't take up all that room.
There's boxes sitting right there for that same reason.
But, and on one hand, out of sight, out of mind. And on the other hand, I shouldn't have done that because it's out of sight, out of mind. I'm going to forget about it. And, we got into an argument. She's like, you can't be, you're going to put it in there. It's going to sit there for 3-4 months. You're going to forget about it forever. And I was like, we'll save it for fire reasons in case we have a bonfire or whatever. It's, start it up. So we don't have to use gas or kerosene or whatever. And she's like, you can just take it to the dump. And, she was saying, like, why don't you just do what you're supposed to do? And I'm like, you know what, you're right. But I keep forgetting to do what I'm supposed to do. And she's like, set yourself reminders. I was like, I forget to set myself reminders. And then if I do set a reminder, if I finally remember to set a reminder, I'll forget what the reminder's for. So like if I don't add a text to it, if I remember to add the text to it.
That's how I am, dude. I don't set reminders because I still end up missing them. So I set alarms. But so I'll have alarms randomly go off all day with no text.
Why the hell? It's 3:43 in the afternoon. Why is this alarm going off?
But I knew I set it for some reason.
Yeah.
Some reason.
And you'll either figure it out or get yelled about it later.
Yeah, I probably won't figure it out.
Yeah,
not in a timely manner.
No, for sure.
Yeah, man. It causes me a lot of trouble. I'm trying to get better. My wife helps me a lot. She knows me. So, she'll be like, you need to do this. Do it now. Just do it now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, part of me, like the man in me is like, don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what, you know what I mean?
I know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
I got my stuff straight.
And, but and it's it's a problem that I have. Mm-hmm. And I guess it's presentation. I think it's just things that I've been through. And she understands. We've had to have that talk. But if she comes to me and says, you need to do this, this, and this, oh, fuck that. No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Exactly.
But if she comes to me and say, hey, I noticed this, maybe you should consider trying this. Make it a suggestive thing. Don't tell me what I should do. And I know it's dumb. It's totally dumb.
No, it
makes
100%
literally
sense.
Presentation.
I'm the same way.
But and she understands, she respects that, and she does great. She will come. And even if she starts, you need to do this, and I don't even take it in a weird way, and she'll be like, oh, I didn't mean to say that. And I'm like, no, you're good. I know.
No, I'm the same way.
She always makes a conscious effort, so I always appreciate that.
I'm the same exact way, because I don't know what it is, too. I don't know where this came from, because I've been racking my brain about it lately for, a couple weeks now. Authority issues. I have issues with authority. I don't know why. Or where. Specifically, not like cops or nothing. I love cops. Respect the hell out of cops.
Yeah.
Not like that kind of authority. I mean, a boss.
Yeah.
Other people's bosses.
Mm-hmm.
I just have every issue under the book with them. Mm-hmm. I think what they do it just makes no sense. It's idiotic. It's moronic. I can't believe they're in the spot that they're in. If if they are allowed to hold this job with this mindset, we're going to fail as a country in about 2 more years, is my thinking. And I don't know where that came from. But I don't know why I brought that up. Authority issues, but...
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Stemming back. Just keep talking, bud. It all makes sense.
Yeah, as long as it makes sense to you.
It really does, dude. I mean, I'm being so serious. And literally, that's the cool thing about sitting here just talking to people. And like, once you talk to people and they start telling you all the stuff, it's like, totally makes sense.
Yeah.
I get it, man. It's like one of my very best friends. He's not on social media or anything like that. I work with him. And, I just had my ADHD moment, Bubba. Where were we going?
One of your very best friends.
Yep, he's a good guy. I love him to death. Not a clue where that was going, though. Where was I going with that?
Something about authority issues, it all making sense.
Yeah, it did. It made so much sense.
Math is mathing correctly.
Math is not mathing correctly. Yeah, dude. I don't remember where I was going with that, but it had something to do with authority. That's what it was. So one of my best friends, when we first met, like when he first come to work with us, couldn't stand the dude. Like me and that dude was butting heads constantly. And then, over time, what it was is one day on the job site, he was walking down the hallway. We had been working together for probably 2 or 3 years at this point.
Oh, wow.
Quite a bit.
Oh, okay. That's a good time.
And
a good amount of time.
So, yeah, we had been at each other for a while. And so, but he was walking down the hallway one day. He was like, hold on a second, I'll be back. And he answered the phone, and, like, he's backwoods, like, NASCAR loving,
the whole nine.
From the middle of nowhere in Iowa, and he starts speaking fluent Vietnamese. And I was like, Kurt, is that you? And he comes back in there. He's like, sorry, I was talking to the old lady. And I was like, so your old lady's Vietnamese? He's like, yeah. So then he starts telling me about how he went to Vietnam and kind of just lived there for a couple of years. And I'm like, tell me more. And so, but over time, like once I knew his background and where he'd come from and all the shit that he had been through, like we just jived after that. Right. There was no more contention. When I went through my divorce, he let me live with him for a while. Like he was the first one to I don't know, man. It was just such a cool thing. But like until I took the time to like know the dude, but I don't know, man, because people are interesting. People have been through a lot. Everybody's been through a lot, you know? And that's a lot of times where I guess people like me and you downplay the childhood thing because everybody's been through stuff. And so we downplay ours because everybody's got their problems.
Yeah, I think it might have been Demo last episode. He said, like, your childhood could be bad, but somebody's got it worse.
Oh, yeah.
Someone's got it way worse.
They do. But that's also a way that we make excuses and we don't take the honest look at our own stuff because – we're making excuses for it.
Yeah.
And like it just has to be dealt with. I just feel like it can, I'm not saying that we just got to sit there and just keep hashing the stuff up or, but if there's like things that's going on in our life that we're having trouble controlling, like if you're still having trouble controlling the anger issues, like on the outside looking in, it just seems like there's some unresolved things that maybe you just haven't dealt with on an emotional mental level.
Yeah, that's the issue. Is I'm trying to figure out what that is because I don't know.
Because like your authoritarian issues that you have also, to me, it's just another thing about control. People that are over you, that have control over a situation, and you don't have control. And you're like, this is bro. I'm telling you,
that could very well be
so
it.
Many,
yeah.
Like it all stems back. That whole 12-year-old Bailey, you probably need to take a look at that guy. Do some evaluation, really kind of dig in, do some meditation on that. I'm so serious, man. I think it's healing. Like, I don't think it's a place that you should get stuck in and like just ponder and dwell on like in a negative sense. But like, in order to heal and move on and maybe even help somebody else, you have to be able to deal with it yourself. Because there's plenty of statistically, I think it's like 80% of addicts have been through sexual abuse as a child. Statistically.
Yeah, I think I've seen that too.
And sitting in NA and AA rooms, I can guarantee that's probably accurate.
Oh, yeah, that was one of the reasons why I actually moved out of my mom's house to begin with.
Yeah.
Was because she was an addict, and I did not know it at the time. I just knew that the way I was being treated as a child, I didn't think, like, beyond the, like I said, beyond the spankings and the groundings that I actually deserved, I felt like I was being... overly abused and grounded, whatnot. And at the time, I just thought it was at the time, I thought there was no reason behind it other than it was just an over-abuse situation. Mm-hmm. And that's what made me move out at 15 was like, I'm done with this nonsense. I want nothing more to do with it. So I left. And
what was your mom's drug of choice?
You had to ask me that question. I was prepared with it at 10 o'clock this morning, and now I forgot. I don't know for sure. I know it was hydros. Mm-hmm. I think oxys too. Yeah. And fast forward many years later, like probably about 4 or 5 years later after the fact, the house that we lived in went to foreclosure because about 4 months after, June, September, whatever, 3 months after I moved out at 15, my mom remarried once we left North Carolina. And my stepdad at the time, he ended up dying in September of 2011. And that also sent her even further down the path that she was already on, which did not help. One of her friends actually set her up and got her arrested for selling one of her pills. So she got arrested and was in jail for a year or two or something. It was something small, wasn't long. But I was not the biggest fan of my mom at all growing up. And I don't know what changed, but come around the age of 16, 17 years old, my mom's been my best friend like ever since. Yeah. I love my mom to death now. Yeah. I would do just about anything for her. And one of the things that we found living in that house was the reason why I brought all that up. It had one of those doors that you had to pull up on the handle and turn the lever in order to lock the door. Because if you just turned the lever, the lock wouldn't lock. Yeah. So you had to pull up. Yeah, you had to pull up and lock it. And for some reason, nobody knew how to figure that out. So the house was just unlocked all the time. So every once in a while, driving by, I'd be like, let's go pop in and see what's up. See if there's something I forgot when I was 15 and moved out, because all of our stuff was still there. But the bank owned it. We found a couple needles on the ground in her bedroom. Yeah. And I don't know what they were for. I mean, you can guess. Could have been anything. Yeah. But so all of that going on at the time of being 12, 13, 14 years old, 15, has caused me to move out, get to where I got with living with my grandparents. And then eventually, I know I keep reverting back to this, but I need to revert back to this as much as possible, because I got to stress this. I can't stress this enough. Even if you don't find God, finding God is how I managed to turn it all around. But even if you don't, at least just meditate. I mean, just sit down by yourself, get into a dark room, listen to some calming music. It doesn't have to be ambience. It can be whatever. Yeah. Listen, if heavy metal makes you calm, blast it. Yeah. It does not matter. Just, sit down by yourself, listen to whatever you want to listen to. Just give yourself 10, 15 minutes of just time, quiet time to yourself to hang out, relax, clear your mind, and just reflect. Yeah. Or think about nothing, whatever works for you. Because once I found God and I started doing that, there was one specific song, Strobe by Deadmau5. Don't know why. It's a 10-minute, 34-second song. I love that song. That's my go-to song. I listen to that when I meditate every single time. And between that and finding God and reading the Bible, I have made amends with everybody I have done wrong except for one person. Mm-hmm. And it aggravates me to this day. Yeah. Because it's not one of those things where you can just message them on Facebook and be like, hey, you remember when we were 16 and I, did these things that wronged you? I'm sorry. Yeah. It's not one of those things. Yeah. I have to, and I have to see him in person and I have to apologize in person. But how do you even start a conversation like that? Be like, hey, is it all right if we meet up one of these times I'm in town so like we can talk? Like other than saying something like that, I don't know how to go about this.
That's the best thing to do. Especially if it's something that's eating at you.
It is. It is eating. I mean, it's been eating at me for a while, and I just couldn't. I don't know. It's just a weird thing because, like, I'm married, and I'm pretty sure she's married. I don't know. I just felt really weird about this situation, but the weirdness overpowered the eating. But lately, the eating has been overpowering the weirdness, especially now where I'm getting even more and more back into faith because I kind of didn't really fall out of it, but like I kind of fell out of it for a couple years. It was just, excuse, X, Y, and Z. Didn't have the time, too lazy, blah, blah, blah. My wife wanted to start going to church, which she was not a church-going kind of girl when we met.
Yeah.
I think she was also agnostic, didn't care. Like she kind of knew because she was like in and out of the church for a little while, but she just randomly came up to me one day about probably 2-3 years ago now. Excuse me. She was like, let's go to church on Sunday. I was like, all right, that's what you want to do? Because like I would always just poke.
Yeah.
And once in a while I'd be like, hey, church stuff?
Yeah.
And she's like, no. And then once it's some random day, she was like, let's go. And I was like, all right, let's go. And that was 2 years ago. One of the things that I actually never did, because I had a different understanding of what it was baptism. I thought baptism was like a certain point in your walk. I didn't realize that it was just a public declaration of faith.
Yeah.
And that's really all it is.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you had to be at a certain point in your life.
Yeah. Baptism is not a requirement of salvation. It's just, it's a beautiful display of, that public profession, but not a requirement of salvation.
No, but one of the coolest things that's ever happened was my wife and I got baptized together.
That's cool.
last year, 2019. Or no, not 20. Oh, good. Last year, 2019. That's how time works, dude. Goodness. 2023, in September, we got baptized together. And it was cool that it was just a spur of the moment thing because she was like, hey man, I don't know. Well, she'd say hey man to me, but she was like, we call each other, like I call her bro, and we mess with each other like that. But she was like, I think I want to get baptized. I was like, all right, well, let's go talk to the pastor, and I'll let you have the conversation with him because I don't need to be there for it. That's not a conversation I need to be a part of. And she had the conversation, and it just so happened to work out that he's like, well, we've got it set up for next week or in 2 weeks or whatever. We can do it then. So we ended up doing it 2 weeks from that day, and it just so happened that her parents were already coming down here that weekend. So her parents got to see us both get baptized together, which was really cool. It sucks that my mom couldn't be there, but it was a last-minute thing, and honestly, I also just forgot to tell her. I forgot to be like, hey, I'm getting baptized next week, which made me feel real bad, but that was getting baptized together was really cool. I don't know, man. People say it all the time, but just give faith a try. Even if you don't want to just dive all in and find God, be into God, and do everything godly like, just go to church a Sunday. Go once a month, go twice a month, figure it out. Or just, to figure it out. But do go.
Yeah.
At least try it.
For sure.
Because, worst case scenario, you wasted an hour and a half, including drive time.
Yeah.
Sermons are only like an hour long in most churches.
Yeah. For sure, man.
So, worst case scenario, you lost an hour and a half of your life.
Yeah. It's a small investment.
Yeah. And that is the absolute worst case scenario.
Yeah.
For
sure, man.
And best case scenario, you change everything. You change the way you think, change the way you act.
Yeah. Yeah. And the meditation thing also, it's something that I would love to start doing more of again. I used to do it a lot more often because there was I can't remember who it was. It might have been A.W. Tozier. I can't remember, but said, or maybe it was Charles Spurgeon. I love Spurgeon. But anyway, meditate often, meditate on eternity. And there is something about sitting and meditating on eternity, an incomprehensible thing, an incomprehensible concept. Mm-hmm. How can you possibly think about eternity, something that is so infinite when we're so finite? And so it's a beautiful thing to meditate on, just this infinite existence that we'll get to be a part of.
Right.
And it's a beautiful thing. And, for me, my walk is not what it was, 8 or 9 years ago. It's totally different now. Mm-hmm. I've said it before. I'm very unorthodox in a lot of ways now.
Me too.
So I was raised Arminian thought. I don't know do you know the difference Arminian and Calvinist thought?
No.
Okay. So like in the Baptist church especially, there's kind of like two different trains of thought. One is Arminianism and the other one is Calvinism. There was, Jacobus Arminius and Joseph Calvin, or John Calvin, I'm sorry, back in like the Reformation period. And they had two trains of thought. And the Calvinist view is basically it's about election. It's about God orchestrating this whole thing on his own from start to finish. So the whole salvation process, I have no control over. I had no control over. He did all the work, every bit of it. And there's nothing I can do to lose that salvation. Where Arminian thought is almost more like you can lose your salvation. And so, but I was raised, it's, in Southern Baptist culture, Arminian thought is primarily, it's the common thing. And so I was raised that way. I would stand behind pulpits preaching that way because I was behind a different, pulpit almost every Sunday for a long time preaching. And then I had this realization one day that there was so much more. Like it had to be deeper than this. Like the theology had to be deeper. God was deeper. It was more expansive than what I just had been raised and taught and was even preaching. And so I took the time to really dig in and like forget everything that I thought that I knew about Scripture and everything I'd been taught and just read it. And I became a Calvinist without even realizing what Calvinism was. But when you get over into Romans 8, it's the most beautiful display. Those he foreknew, he predestined. Those he predestined, he called. Those he called, he justified. And those he justified, he made righteous. From the foreknowledge to the making of righteousness, it was all God orchestrating it in a beautiful way. Long before I ever existed or even thought about existing, God had already determined steps. And so, and you can't, and that's why in a Calvinist thought, God's grace is irresistible. When God bestows his grace onto you, you cannot reject it. It's not possible to reject. Mm-hmm. When the God of creation commands an atom and molecule, it has to obey. So when people say in Arminian thought, believe that God will not violate man's free will, I think the Apostle Paul would strongly refute that. His Damascus moment was clearly a violation of his own free will. In Paul's free will, he went to the Sanhedrin and collected the documents to go and persecute the church in Damascus. In his will, that's what he was going to do. And in that will, God said, nope, not happening. Actually, you're going to go do this instead. And without question, Paul just went. Mm-hmm. Total violation of your will just then, Paul. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I'm so grateful that God will violate my free will to bestow grace to somebody that doesn't deserve it. I do not deserve anything. Like I am the lowest of the low. Like Paul said, I am the chief sinner. I am the worst dude that I've ever met in my life. Even to this day, in my mind, I am the most sinful man that you'll ever meet. I think that it's a healthy view to have of ourselves. It keeps us in the right perspective. Paul had that view of himself. He called himself the chief sinner, and so But yeah, man, it's but doing that, man, it changed everything for me, and it got me to this more unorthodox place. And don't get me wrong, when I first became a Calvinist, I did a lot of damage because it's a very damaging thing. Because you feel like you want to stand on the rooftops and just shout at people and be like, "This is the truth," and what you believe is not.
Yeah.
But the thing is like over time, though, I've realized like you got to tone it down, because just because somebody has an Arminian thought doesn't mean that like they're destined for hell or something.
Right.
But like when you become a Calvinist, it's kind of like your thought process, like you're trying to save the saved, you know, and it becomes a weird thing. So I did a lot of damage there for a little bit. I had to tone it down, and I just had to back off a little bit, you know, because I'm very passionate when I do something. And when it comes to scripture and stuff like that, I can get real passionate. I get like my father. And so that's why I have to back off just a little bit, you know. Yeah. But man.
Can't say the same.
Yeah.
That's one of the things, my mother-in-law, she just, I don't know, she can't wrap her head around it. She's like, you don't care that you don't know your dad? Like, you don't care that you don't know anything about him? Like, I know his name and I know where he lives just because my wife got curious and looked him up once. It's like I know where he lives and what his name is, but other than that, I could not care any less, man. Yeah. I just don't care. It's not a big deal.
But he didn't even know, though, did he?
He knows.
He knows now.
He didn't know at the time, but he's known for the majority of my life.
Gotcha.
I think I was probably about 1 or 2 by the time my mom told him.
I got you.
And apparently my biological grandfather on his side, I borderline grew up with, but never knew who he was, and he wasn't allowed to speak with me because this is the story I'm told, at least. I don't know how accurate this is. His wife was like, technically my stepmom, I guess. She was a very jealous person, I guess, and was not fond of the fact that, because I guess she knows too, was not fond of the fact, obviously, that he cheated on her and had a kid with somebody else. Right. So there was, according to her, there was to be 0 conversations had between me and anybody on that side of the family. I say kind of grew up with because alcoholism runs in the family. So I grew up in a bar. We'd go to the bar every weekend. It was one of my favorite things to do, too. We'd go to the bar, and I'd play pool. I'd shoot darts. I'd play that little stupid computer game thing that they had on there. You know, had like 30 different games on it. Yep. I'd sit there and I'd have a great time. It was fantastic, and I loved it. And in that same bar was my biological grandfather all the time. And he would just sit and watch from afar and never speak to me because he wasn't allowed to. Yeah. I don't know what the repercussions would have been if he had, or who would have told. Yeah. But small town, they're going to find out eventually. Yeah. You live in a town with only 1,000 people on a good day. Yeah. Everybody's going to find out something eventually.
For sure, dude.
Everybody.
For sure.
But
that's tough, man. That's tough. I guess for me, it would just be like, I totally understand where you're coming from. I guess my only thought process is just like maybe helping you understand yourself a little bit more, just knowing who he is and his personality. I don't know, maybe just put pieces together for yourself. It could be therapeutic. I don't know.
Yeah, it probably would be. It would probably make things make sense that don't currently make sense. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm happy with who I am. I love who I am.
Yeah, for sure.
There's very little I would change about myself right now. Yeah. Outside of the anger issues, and my forgetfulness, there's really not a whole lot of other things. There is some other things, but there's not a whole lot of other things that I would change about who I am. Yeah. I love myself.
That's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing to hear somebody say that, just that they love themselves, especially when it's somebody that's been through so much, man. It's just a really cool place. Everybody needs to learn how to love themselves, man. It'd be such a better place.
You hear it all the time, but if you can't love yourself, how do you expect somebody else to?
Yeah.
Like they say that all the time, and it's not just one of those cliche things. Like it's actually a thing.
It is, man. But like I've said this before too, like how do you love somebody that's unlovable? Like I'm unlovable. That's what I feel like. You know what I mean? Like
Nobody's unlovable.
No, I know that, but like in my mind, like I'm unlovable because I've been like I've said this before. I know all the things I've ever done intimately.
Well, to oversimplify it. You ever see The Lion King?
Yeah.
You know that we actually just watched over Christmas for some reason. It was my niece who's like a year old. Put it on for her. She fell asleep, and then all the adults just kept watching it because why not? But that scene where I can't remember the dude's name, Rafiki or whatever, the monkey. The monkey hits Simba in the head with the thing, and Simba's like, "Ow, that hurt." And he goes, "It doesn't matter. It's in the past." Like it's such an oversimplified way of thinking, but yeah, you're right. It's in the past, so you can look back on it, but to still be hurt from it, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, no, I'm not still hurt from it. Like I've learned to love myself.
Yeah,
it's just taken some
I'm saying,
time.
for other people who are having,
for sure.
for other people who are having troubles, looking back, like, oh, this happened to me at this age, and that sucks, and I'm still having a hard time with that. And on one hand, it's it's hard to deal with, and on the other hand, why? Why are you still dealing with this? It's in the past. It shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks, but don't let it shape you.
Yeah, for sure. But those traumatic experiences, though, especially in like as a kid and stuff, man, it's like a shard of glass to the brain, man. And that's what a traumatic experience is. You know what I mean? And so, yeah. And dealing with those, I think, like, because for me is when I started learning how to love myself when I could step back and take the honest look at all of the things that got me to where I was at, that led me to some of the past. Now, I made my own choices, don't get me wrong, but there was a lot of things that kind of led me to that, you know what I mean? And so it allowed me to give myself some grace, I think, once I started taking an honest look at the overall picture and see all the influences and all the things around me that got me to that place, and that it wasn't just me solo, just a bad person that just went down. It's all the circumstances that get us there. And so, I think that's, most people that probably have trouble loving themselves, man, I think it's just being able to step back and take that honest look to deal with the things so you can learn how to love yourself. And it's not easy. It's hard. And, but yeah, that's why having a solid support system, having other gentlemen around, or ladies, having other ladies around, it's just people that you can talk to, that you can vent to. Like I can talk to my wife about anything, but there is just something about talking to another dude that you can just relate to. You know what I mean?
That's because we understand each other. Like,
yeah, and just like a woman,
like women understand each other.
Yeah, 100%, man. And so, but yeah, we got to be talking more. Dude, this has been awesome, man. I had no clue, bro. And like
I never have a clue.
You've been through it, man. And that's just crazy, dude. And because I was even asking Joseph or Seth the other day, I was like, just tell me a little bit about Bailey. I was trying to get some back. He's like, bro, there's a lot I don't know. And I was like, okay, cool.
Which is funny is because like I'm an open book person. You can ask me anything you want, and I will give you the honest truth.
Yeah.
Because I don't care, man.
Yeah, I don't think we pry into each other's lives enough, man. It's such a nonchalant deal. Like it's
well, yeah, because I mean, how do you bring something like that up?
Yeah,
like,
no, for
like,
sure.
Hey, tell me about the time you were 8 years old.
Yeah.
What was going on when you were 8?
Yeah.
Like, how do you just follow? Like, how do you work that into a conversation other than doing something like this?
Yeah, for sure.
And just letting it organically come up.
That's true. I don't know, man. Like I guess from doing this, I catch myself more often now when I'm talking to people just in public about it's like I'm sitting here doing this. I start prying in a little bit because now I'm curious.
Yeah.
Because the more people that I sit here in this chair with and like hear all the stuff, and you're like, really?
Yeah, and you never expect this dude who like, looks like they've got it together and they're like doing really good for themselves now. 10 years ago, they could literally have been at the bottom of the deepest, darkest barrel.
Bro, you never know.
You would never figure it out.
And so it's such a cool thing. But in doing that, man, it's just kind of sparked curiosity when I'm out in the wild.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like I'm out here fishing, like, oh, that gentleman looks interesting. Hey, what's your life like?
I've seen actually, yeah, it was funny. I've actually seen a couple interesting dudes at the gym that I wanted to walk up and just spark a conversation with, but
Do it.
I didn't.
Do it.
I was listening to I think it was, I don't remember if it was Demo or David, but one of them where you were talking about just do it. It'd be awesome. And I thought to myself, I was like, there's this one guy at the gym that I've seen 100 times that I feel like I need to go up and talk to this dude.
Yeah.
And
why don't you?
I didn't do it. I feel like I really don't know.
Yeah.
Straight up, I really don't know. But if I had to hazard a guess, I would feel like it's half of he's working out, don't interrupt him, like it's a respect thing, and put it simply, just scared.
Fear of rejection.
Yeah.
That's what we all have, dude. That's what keeps me from doing it, man. Like all the dudes that I have eventually went up and talked to, though, for me, it's fear of rejection. Like you don't want somebody to just be like, "What you doing? Why are you talking to me,
right.
dude?" You know?
Like I did talk to one guy at the gym today. He was wearing a funny shirt, and I was like, "Hey, man, nice shirt. I like it."
Yeah.
But that was just in passing. That was it.
Yeah. So I hate small talk.
I can't stand it.
I cannot stand small talk. That's
brutal.
where I feel the most awkward ever, is trying to do small talk.
Well, yeah, like the hangout we had the other night, it was just the first, like when it was just me, you, and Seth,
Yeah.
the first like 20 minutes, it was awful.
Yeah.
Dude, it was so bad.
Yeah.
I did not know what to do.
I
I was like,
didn't either.
man, we could play pool, or we could just sit here and hang out, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
It was just so weird. But then once everybody else started showing up, and it was still awkward, but like a couple, 20 minutes went by, and
Yeah.
then it was cool. It was a lot of
Yeah.
fun, which
It got better. I'm excited about doing it more often, man.
Yeah.
And there was several people that messaged me afterward. They were like, "We're going to make sure we're there next time." And yeah, man. And then like my buddy Brent stopped by, and like that dude's been going through it, dude, for a while. And he just out of the blue, man. I hadn't heard from him in a while, and he called me once we were already there, and he was like, "Are y'all doing that tonight?" I was like, "I'm here right now." And he's like, "I'm taking a shower and I'm heading over there."
nice.
And it was cool, man, because he has been going through it. We was able just to talk for a few minutes when he was there, and I got to get up with him. I gotta call that guy for sure. I love you, Brent. I'll call you, dude. We'll make this happen. I need to take you to lunch or something, I guess. We need to talk some more. But yeah, dude, this has been awesome. I appreciate you coming by, dude, and just being honest and open, and like you've got a lot of things to offer that can help some people out for sure.
That's the plan. That's if I've got one goal in life, it's to put as many smiles on other people's faces as possible. That's why I am on this earth, is to make you and all of you as happy as I can physically possibly do.
It's awesome.
That's why I tell you every day it's a great day to have a great day, because
I'm telling you.
it is a great day
You
to
cannot
have a
help
great day.
but smile and be in a good mood when you see this guy just walk in the door of the gym. It's amazing, dude. It's a beaming smile just across the gym, man, and you just feel good, right? And so find people like that. Surround yourself with people like that. It's good for you. But
People always give me weird looks, but because they're like, why is this dude so happy for? Like, he just walks into the gym, and I'm sitting there. I got a smile on my face about this big.
Yeah.
I'm just looking around like, man, got people running on a treadmill. Man. We got a couple benches open.
yeah.
Oh, I see some curls or
Yeah.
some area do curls that's available.
Yeah.
I'm just ready, man. I'm ready for anything.
That's awesome, dude. Bailey, thank you so much for being here, man. God, this is just, yeah. Take a look at that 12-year-old Bailey, though.
I'm going to have to meditate on that tonight,
I feel like
probably.
that kid's got a lot to talk about, for sure. Gentlemen, I love you. Thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with us for a little while, just humoring us a little bit. If you don't have people, I can't encourage you enough to go and find some people. Find some people and invest some time with some people, and just be open and real with those people. And it'll probably change your life a little bit. But anyway, until next time, I'm Zach. This is Man to Mike. Find those people and tell them that you love them. I'll see you later.